Greetings and welcome to this edition of Deep Life Talk with Guru Grok. I'm your host, Guru Grok. Today we're going to be exposing a lot of the bullshit out there in the self-help, personal development, life mastery space. There's a lot of flattering fluff. There's a lot of just, mantras that are sort of meaningless. There's tons of psychobabble bullshit out there that's just not really going to do you any good. I'm highly educated, and I spent some time in psychology classes when I was an undergrad and even some as a graduate student, and it's just a lot of mumbo jumbo too often. And so I want to warn you off of that there's anybody who's telling you about personal development that's focusing too much on psychology is not going to be much help. And there is even a branch within psychology called positive psychology, which is where I think we should all be starting. So we'll talk about that in another episode. But instead, the one mantra of your life for personal development and for self-help should just be take action. You should be doing things that help you strengthen your thinking, improved thinking about realities of life and what is reasonable to hope for and what is reasonable to achieve and what is unreasonable, and good thoughts like that, and how you can make yourself better and make yourself feel better with better thinking. Principles like Stoicism is very popular now, and that's some good thinking. Certainly added strength to my life while I was in prison unjustly for all that time, facing parole boards that didn't know me at all and things like that. So you want definitely to think in terms of taking action in your personal growth by studying, by training, by learning things, by doing lots of reading, by learning how to have better relationships. So learning is the driving thing in personal growth, and tapping into spirit too through meditation and journaling and studying Eastern thoughts and metaphysical texts and things. Sexual magic is a powerful thing. There's lots of that. So I just want to let you know that today we'll be exposing a bunch of garbage and teaching you some things you can take action on. So the first one I would encourage you in is definitely get involved with mixed martial arts, man or woman, but certainly the young man all the way to middle-aged man. I mean, a 65-year-old man could start training in Muay Thai and have it add much life to his life for certain. So I have an extensive background there, and it's certainly been one of the formative things of my life, making me who I am and making me much better than I would be without it, is the way to put it. The study of mixed martial arts will test you. It will develop you in ways you can't even foresee. It will challenge you. Certainly you're going to learn all kinds of practical techniques about kicking ass when you need to. So I would say that to take up mixed martial arts has got to be somewhere near the top of the list for the man who really wants to add some dimensions to his life and to his personality, to his overall character and being. And there's so much opportunity in the United States for that. Of course, I'm from LA, and I can go all kinds of places for that. Now, I would tell you to avoid some of the classical martial arts schools like Taekwondo and Karate and things like that, some of the Kung Fu schools that are too much caught up in their traditions. You want to be free to break from that and make things your own. Add, as Bruce Lee noted, you're going to learn from others, but you definitely need to add what is distinctly your own, figuring in your strengths and your personality and what you are and aren't willing to do, and definitely looking at your body type, because maybe you're more built like a grappler, or maybe you're more inclined to stand up and develop powerful percussive skills. Maybe you're inclined to edged weaponry, which is highly recommended, the Filipino martial arts and others. I come from the Filipino martial arts background with Daniel Inosanto and Cass Magda, and then handed down to me. It's highly recommended. But the study of the mixed martial arts will turn you into a warrior. I mean, you're going to gain so many skills and a new perspectives on life and gain so much. The beautiful irony here is that you're going to get physically fit as a result. There's no pursuing physical fitness. It just happens. When you go ahead, start doing Muay Thai, an hour or two of Muay Thai 3 days a week, or 4 or 5 days a week if you really want to get fit fast. And before you know it, the body fat's gone. You've got new muscles and new flexibility and new skill sets and new wind. Your cardio strength will go that way because you're going to suck some serious wind if you're doing Muay Thai. So I just want to encourage you in that. That's actionable advice to you. Get involved with mixed martial arts. It'll change your life. And that's not some mantra about flattering yourself, reading a book called You Are a Badass, which is just flattery. You have the potential to be a badass. You can become a badass, but you're probably not one yet. So unless you've been pursuing these things for a long time. So my encouragement is to do actionable things, and that's a great example of that. So the next thing I would say is definitely to take up some resistance training. In the physical training sphere, you definitely want to take up resistance training first. It's the most important. Is the cardio important? Of course. And are there all kinds of studies about how those who run a few days a week or even just jog, do they have lower incidence of heart attacks. There's studies saying that kind of thing, but I already know for a fact that the highest return on investment is for you to start lifting heavy shit off the floor, start doing proper weight training, resistance training. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it with body weight like a gymnast. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it like in prison we have bars and things like that, and that's how we didn't have weights for a long time. They didn't have that stuff. So it doesn't matter if you're pumping iron. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. Your muscles don't know. They only know stretch and flex. That's all they know. So it doesn't really matter. You just need to create the proper leverage. And so weight training, of course, makes it easy. Go to a gym and start pumping some iron, bench press, squat, pulls, do pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, all kinds of exercises you can do. And this is not the purpose of this episode to tell you. We'll get into that stuff in the future. I've got great shows coming up for all that stuff. But for right now, just the idea that start to weight train along with your studies, along with taking up mixed martial arts, and the return on investment is so high. It's one of the best things you could possibly do. So begin to weight train and add muscle to your frame and begin to chip away the fat, and you're going to feel energized. You're going to be better. Therefore, you're going to feel better, and therefore, you're going to look better. And people in life will sit up and notice this. The women in your life are going to